What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Welcome back. Hello Hair Pro Podcast. Jen, how's it going?
What's up? Great. How about yourself?
What's up? Great, too. All right. Today, we're going to do one of those random episodes. I think the last random episode we did, and when I say random, it's not like we came up with a topic and then created show notes. What we're doing is it's similar to what we did with the AI. We gave AI a prompt to prompt us questions. This time, what I did was create a list of random topics that relate to salons in some way, shape, or form, or salon businesses or business. I printed the list, and Chen has a set of topics, and I have a set of topics. So we'll just choose, and we'll randomly chat about that for a few minutes, and we'll try to keep it brief because I feel like that will make it fun. Some of these will be quick answers, I bet, while others could be entire episodes. But either way, we'll keep it not rapid fire, but maybe we'll aim for the 3 to 5 minute mark on each thing. And we'll see how many we get. We'll see how many we get to. As always, we start with our
opening takes.
What do you got, Chen?
Mine is, I think, simple. I feel like I see a lot of things from owners on Facebook and things like that are just super negative. They are focusing on all the things that aren't going right in their business, or all the things that aren't even stylists, all the things that aren't going right in maybe their day-to-day, or their books aren't full. And it's easy to get trapped in that world. And then somehow everything seems negative around you. And before you know it, you're just like down and out about everything. So my opening take is take a second, pause, and maybe look at something that's right in front of you that's actually going well or is positive. And before you know it, you start to see more little positive nuggets in your day, in your life, in your career. And it really does help to get your mindset on track. So if you find yourself down the negative rabbit hole, find something positive. There's definitely at least one thing you can grab onto. And before you know it, it does turn things around.
Mine's to do with owners too. So I saw recently somebody post about what owners are supposed to be doing when they're not behind the chair. And so I was like, we've created a bunch of content exactly on that topic. What should owners be doing? I saw some of the comments, and one of the comments was, or a few of them were, I'm the top salesperson in my, top earner in my salon. Why would I stop doing that to run a business and focus on $12 tasks, $12 an hour tasks? And I thought, whoa, they have a misconception of what it is to run a business. So while it's important to bring revenue in, there are certain tasks that only the owner can do, such as strategy stuff, like deciding which direction the business is going to move in, deciding marketing approaches, deciding, making decisions based on product lines, et cetera, et cetera. And those things are worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars per hour because they're bringing in future business. And I think there's this giant misconception or disconnect with owners who think, I'll just work behind the chair. In order to grow a real business, and I'm not being mean by saying a real business, but one that, because what happens if you're not behind the chair? Business doesn't survive.
Right.
So then it's not really a business. It's just you work for yourself. Like, it's not really a business. There's nothing you can scale. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can sell. So that just is something that's interesting to me. All right. Let's get into these topics. Here's how it'll work. If Jen, you pick the topic, I'll start the conversation, and vice versa.
Okay.
And if you aren't sure or don't know or don't have anything, we'll just move on rather than sit here and go, because when you come off the top of the dome like this, sometimes you get stumped.
Gotcha.
All right. Who wants to pick first?
Oh, wait. I'll go first because then you have to go first, right?
Okay. Yeah. And these are the same topics. So if I draw the same thing, we'll just skip it and move on, obviously.
Difficult clients.
Difficult clients. Okay. What comes to mind? Difficult clients. It's part of the job. It's part of business. You're going to have difficult clients. I think another misconception people make is that your business needs to be for everybody. It really doesn't need to be for everybody. You should be trying to hone in on and attract your target clients, the people that resonate with you, the people that vibe with you. And through that, just by nature of numbers and statistics, you're going to have difficult clients that come in. You're going to have people that aren't happy. You're going to have people that you don't vibe with. Some of them more than others. Some of them just disappear. You never see them again. Others leave you scathing reviews on Google or wherever and are offended at everything. And you just have to be tough. That's part of owning a business. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, when I think of difficult clients, I think of having a conversation and deciding on if that client is worth keeping at your business, what makes them difficult. We have some difficult clients that our young generation in our salon view as difficult when just they're older than them and they don't vibe, right? So maybe they need a different stylist. Some need to go and are not part of they're not our clients anymore. I think it just becomes like I said, a conversation and a perspective on it. And then you as the owner have to decide what to do. And protecting your business and your staff is the most important.
Cool. All right, next topic. Here we go. What do I got here? Team meetings. That's 2, Jen.
I know. Okay. Team meetings. I prefer individual meetings over team meetings, but I think there's a time and a place where you need to have it. I'd prefer to do that on probably Zoom, make it really easy. Everybody come together from wherever they are. And I think team meetings are necessary for when maybe you have some really general things to address that doesn't affect or doesn't necessarily go to an individual, and you just need to get some information out.
All right. My view on team meetings are trash. I hate them. I think they're a complete waste of time. I think that people, like Jen said, if you have to get general information out, I do not think you need a meeting. I think you need a Slack post or you need a text message or something like that. I think that too many times people have done team meetings in the past that I've been a part of where a total, like a segment of the room it's not even relevant information to them. So now you're having people sit there and it's a waste of certain people's time.
Yeah.
I prefer one-on-one meetings or two-on-one meetings. And I think we do those. We have our one big one with everyone throughout the year. And then we're touching base and talking to people individually throughout the year where it's not necessarily like a meeting on the book, but it's like, hey, you have a few minutes to talk about this. This year, I think I've had 6 meetings with Brooke, maybe just talking about different topics and different things that we're excited about and whatever. I think those are far more productive.
Agreed. Oh, now I go.
Mm-hmm.
Hustle culture.
Hustle culture. Look, there's a time and a place. I think hustle culture was something that was glorified on social media a few years ago. And then we started driving the other side, which was work-life balance and boundaries. And there's always going to be this swing from one side to the other when you have topics. I don't think that hustle culture should go away. And I don't think, quote unquote, boundaries should go away. I think there's a time and a place. I think throughout your year, you need time off. And I think throughout your year, you're in a sprint mode. So if you're looking at building a clientele, you need that hustle culture. You're not going to build a clientele by taking time off, by having work-life balance. It's important, but you can't do it forever. You'll break.
Agreed. I started my career in a hustle culture of where it was, I guess, cool to basically just snack in the bathroom while you're going pee so that you can stay on time for your clients. Like, that's disgusting. And I can't even believe that was part of my upbringing in the industry, but it was. And the busier you were and the more that happened was like you made it or something. So I think there's truly a balance. I'm with you, Todd. I think if you're starting out, yeah, you need to hustle to get yourself going, to get those clients, to build your foundation, to curate kind of your career in a sense. And then once you get there, then you can decide what's your balance with hustling versus like your time off or your chill time or what you want your schedule to look like or what you want your day-to-day to look like. My life now is much better. There's breaks in my schedule. I take time and it's a much better work day for me personally. And I've gotten older, so I can't work how I used to, nor would I want to.
The kids, by the way, help me fold these up.
I love that.
All right, next topic, core values.
That's, to me, you need them. If you don't have them, you stand for nothing and you're going to make really bad decisions based on your gut or really quick decisions that don't have any foundation to actually steer your business in the right direction. Sit down today and get your core values on paper. Figure out what you want for the business, where you want it to be and where you want it to go.
Core values are fundamental to me. They're something that you need in order to operate. Like Jen said, they're what steer your business. Your core values should come from sitting down and doing an exercise where you really draw out what things are truly important to you, like at your core, at your soul level. And those are things that may or may not change over time. You might adapt different things or head in a different direction from time to time, but basically they shouldn't change. You're not going to go from operating a business with integrity to without and expect a good result. So your core values are something that comes from your core, obviously, and they're a set of values that guide your decision-making process. If you look at bringing on a new product line, for example, it should fit your core values. If it doesn't, you shouldn't do it. And it's just that simple. Your staff, when you make staffing decisions, if they don't vibe with your core values and they're not bought in, they're not going to stand for what you stand for as far as the next level of things. So yeah, they're core, they're fundamental.
My turn.
Yep.
Expansion in multiple locations.
Oh, interesting. Okay, where do I want to go with this? Expansion should happen when you are 100% maximized in your total business. So say you have a business and you're 6 chairs and you have room for 2 more. I would not be looking at opening a second location. I would be looking at maximizing that first location, because the second that you move on to a second location, it seems cool, right? You get to post that on social media. You get to be a badass boss babe or whatever you want to call yourself. You get to have multiple locations. I'm picking a little bit, but I'm guessing they're award-winning luxury locations. And again, I'm picking, but I see people do that. And then I saw people do that in the gym industry. I've seen people do that in the restaurant industry, and it doesn't always work well. Most times it doesn't. And it's because you're not maximizing the business. So if you can't maximize one business, you're not maximizing the second business. So before even considering expansion or before even considering even new services, I would look at, are you maximized in what you're doing already?
I totally agree. I believe that most businesses go for expansions or a second location, multiple locations, before they're actually ready. I would want you to try something first. Can you not be in your business for a month or 2 months, and does it run smoothly? Do you have systems and procedures in place that can work without you there? Because if you're doing multiple locations, you're not going to always be in one where your staff is used to you being into it. And also, yes, I don't think people maximize their space enough and even rotate your chairs, like using all of your space plus all of your days to maximize that first and then look at something else. And then also, is it running well? Are you running a really great business that's profitable? Just because you open another one doesn't mean somehow you're going to get better at business. You really need that first location to be doing the best that it can before you even consider that as an option, in my opinion.
I'm up, right?
Yep.
Google reviews.
Need them, love them, even the negative ones. It's funny to me when people are like, what do you do with a negative review? I don't do anything, Todd does. But if you've never actually looked at our reviews, you should go check it out, because the negative reviews are the best ones, and Todd's response to them are quite hilarious. And we've actually gained clients off of Todd's response to negative reviews. Let's face it, no one's business is perfect. You're dealing with the public, with people. They're going to like you or not. It's theirs to leave your review, but the more you have, the better Google likes you. So get them and work on it and respond to them, because that's what Todd does, and it works really well for us.
Yeah, Google reviews are something that is still really valuable for businesses. It's what's pulling up. We get probably 99% of our business through Google. Everyone that I ask, that's how they find us. And the majority of them say, check your reviews, and you have a bunch of them. So at the time of recording this, we have approaching, I think, 300 reviews, and there's maybe 4 bad ones. And the bad ones, I would probably answer a little differently today than I would 5 or 6 years ago when I was more of a smartass. I was sarcastic with people, and it was my approach. And I thought, this is who I am, so I want to put that out there. If somebody comes at me, I'm going to go back at them. It's my nature. I do not suggest you do that. But I do suggest that you are yourself when you answer, and don't let people tell you that apologize and do this and try to make it right. Again, sometimes it's not the right fit for the person. So you can stand up for yourself. And again, what Jen said was, we've gotten clients from that. We've had a bunch of clients that are like, I thought it was hilarious the way you responded to those reviews. So I'm here. Mm-hmm. You're my people. And so that when you find your people, that's what it's all about. And that's what reviews are designed to do.
Yep. Dun, dun, dun. Standards.
Yeah, you need them. If you don't have standards and they're not laid out, it's like not having a core value for you to make decisions off of. What standards do is they give your staff guidelines to work within. Jen always says we created the boundaries, we created the inbounds and out of bounds, and you guys are free to be creative and work within those boundaries. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what standards are for. I think they just guide your staff.
I agree. And I think standards...
Also, can I add one thing? I know I stopped, but standards are important from a client perspective as well, because your clients expect a certain standard. And if they can get that, they go. Why are places like McDonald's so successful? It's because you can go anywhere in the world and it's the same thing. It provides a level of comfort. It provides consistency. And when your clients get that, it protects your business too, because as we saw with COVID, sometimes people were out sick or whatever. At Hello, even though we had opened recently, people would see other people because they knew they were getting the same standard. And so it protects your business because your clients are clients of the business maybe, and not necessarily of the individual. And so I think it just gives you a way to not just protect your business, because I don't want it to seem like a negative, but to provide to the client. The client knows they can come in and see anybody, and it's a similar experience.
Mm-hmm. Standards are a must, and I think they do a few things. For the owner, it's accountability. If you lay out a standard, I talked about this in a podcast recently because I let a certain standard slide over the last year or so in our business, which was people coming in, what I would say is late. It'd be like right on time. Maybe their client was already there. And I wasn't addressing it at the moment. And what that did was allow our culture to be like, oh, showing up on time or early, that seems to be not as big of a deal. So we went into our individual meetings this year and I was like, I will start holding you accountable. I will have a conversation with you every single time until you change it, or that conversation will be different. So standards keep you as the leader leading the team. It allows you to not be complacent, and it allows your team to see you leading them by upholding the standards. On the same side, with you, Todd, on the clients, I train, as most of you know, I am like the education person in the salon. So what we hear often when I have a new stylist join our team is clients, as soon as like they're on the floor doing services, they're like, oh, well, if you can't get me and I'll see so-and-so, I know she trained under you. So I know she knows like what's expected and will give me the best service that you've trained her to do. So it allows on both sides for your staff to understand you're going to uphold them, and the clients understand you're upholding them. So they trusted the process also.
I'm up.
Yep.
All right. Commission.
You need to be able to explain how your numbers run in your business if you are a commission-run salon to your staff. I don't need them to know your ins and outs, but you do need to be able to show them where the money goes in a very easy, simple explanation so that they can understand what you're paying them and why. Most often in commission salons, stylists feel that you as the owner are getting the biggest chunk, because when you see a commission, you see a chunk here and here. But once you start to lay out the way the commission works, where the money goes, they then understand no matter what you're paying them, they are getting the biggest chunk because of all of the things that have to go out and the risks that are taken for the business to operate from the day to day, month to month. So be able to explain the commission rate and how it breaks down.
I'm going to take it from a different perspective. I'm going to look at it from the commission model. So I think the commission model is great. I know a couple of years back, people said commission salons are dead and blah, blah, blah. That's just not true. It is a way for you to build a team, to curate talent, to have standards. I think if you move away from the commission model into the booth rental model or rental model, you lose that ability because, yes, you can have standards, but you can't really dictate what people do in their businesses. And we see a lot of blurred lines there and things that just frankly aren't legal even to exhibit control. And what you should do is learn how to build a commission model. The other thing I want to point out too is commission is something that's used as a commodity, and it's somewhere where business owners will use commission to maybe attract staff. And so you get, it's the opposite of the race to the bottom. A lot of people will look at discounts. And if you start looking at the price of your product as the commodity, what do you have to do? You have to lower your prices. So what do you do if you do that with commission? You have to raise your commission. And eventually you can't, what are you going to do? Give 100%? So when you're looking at commission percentages from an ownership or even an employee perspective, you have to still do the math, because you might look at something and someone might say, I'll give you 70%. And you're like, oh, let's go over there. Your haircut's $5. Okay, that's not very much money, but it's 70%. And we've had those conversations with people in the past who just focused on the highest possible commission and not what they were actually getting paid per service.
Amenities.
Oh, geez. Again, amenities are not a differentiator. Amenities are things that are fine if you want to have, but they don't separate your business in any way, shape, or form. You can't add words to amenities to make them better or stronger. You can't say, I have luxury amenities. You have Diet Coke and mini bags of Doritos. Every salon has that, except Hello. We don't offer that. We have a Keurig because we're not a coffee house. I saw a salon the other day that was like, they were selling like a $7,000 coffee machine, and they were like, if you need a ton of coffee, and it was one that you'd see in like a breakfast place. And I was like, that's insane. But people are putting too much stock into amenities. We had an episode like, people will do anything but hair in this industry. I think truly it's a service industry. And if you can be of service to people and focus on your services, you don't need that other crap. Again, it's not a differentiator. Nobody is going to your salon because you have a specific soda or a snack cart. I think it's silly, and people put too much stock into it. If you want to have that stuff, cool. It's fun. You can see that. But I've even seen it lately creating problems where you're like, what do you do with your renters? They're eating all the snacks, and you're putting out a bunch of food to people, like, and they're eating it. What do you expect? What do you expect here? So I don't know. It's just amenities. It's not what's bringing people into your business.
I think amenities have turned into like a circus. I think it's funny when I see, it's not even funny, but it annoys me when I see salons advertising their amenities, like the drinks and the snacks that they have. Your focus, like, what do you actually sell? What product are you offering? Because have you become a food place? I'd love to see all of your offerings be about the service that you're offering, maybe do a promotion for that, but basically the stuff that you actually stand for and what your brand is about. It's odd to me when you're trying to bring in clients based on your drink of the month or your snack of the month. Like, why not be something about hair? That's what you do, hair. You should be attracting clients that want to see the services you do, not the food and drinks that you're offering. And at some point, especially where we know most salons are not profitable, it's just the numbers that are out there, you might not even be able to afford to offer these amenities. You might be actually putting you in a less profitable situation, but nobody thinks about that. They just are like, we'll just spend money on this. Like, there are times where it might, even if someone had looked at your books, be like, you can't offer those amenities. Like, you just can't, because you don't have enough money coming in. I just think they're funny.
Yeah, look, if you're trying to build your business off of something that you can get at any convenience store, when you just thought about what I just said, you should have had that thought. That's not different. It's not helping at all. I can stop at any one of 100 different convenience stores on the way to your salon and get any of the things that you're telling me is what separates you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next. Social media.
Oof. All right. I find it very frustrating when I see owners force their employees to do social media. That's not yours to enforce. Also, I think it's interesting when they leave and you think they like you own their stuff. Anyway, here's what I think. With social media, what Todd does on the side of the business to put us as a business in front of people, the marketing and that, what we'll say to the staff is if you want to play in the social media land, you will get ahead quicker because of the stuff Todd does behind the scenes. Now, I know most owners don't do any of that. So those owners who are saying to their staff, you must do social media, then as an owner, you must do the steps behind the scenes to push that social media out there. But since you're not doing anything with social media, I don't know how you can expect your staff to do that for you. You're the owner. You took on the business. You have a job to do. Our staff sees it. Those that do post get busier a lot faster because of what Todd does. And those that want to take the marathon pace, totally cool. Don't care. Just don't complain. It's just for fun. It's like a walking business card for me.
Where is it walking? What does that
I don't know.
mean?
I always say that. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
Out there, like,
I was like, wait a second.
walking
What is
around.
walking?
It's walking on the cloud. I don't know.
All right. Social media. Look, social media is a free platform, and I think that you can leverage it in different ways to gain clients. I think often what in the hair industry is just trash as far as, and hear me out, I don't mean to ruffle any feathers, but it's trash as far as marketing. If you're somebody that's just posting the back of your client's head and writing a caption like blonde season or cherry cola or cappuccino, you have to ask yourself from a client perspective, what does that convey? Does that solve a client's problem? If a client is looking to feel good because they're going to a party, they might want their hair to be brighter. You can explain that and solve that problem for them in a bunch of different ways. If somebody needs a new hairstyle, but they're afraid to make a change, you could solve that problem. There's a fear component. When you just write blonde, what does that do for somebody? I think social media can be powerful. I just think a majority of this industry is very monkey see, monkey do. Again, there are a lot of industries that are very similar to that. If you're a sports fan, you know that the NFL, for example, is known as a copycat league. Somebody does something in their offense, it becomes popular. The next year, more teams are doing that same exact thing. Why? Because it worked. And so a lot of industries will copy each other. And I think it takes away from the originality. It takes away from your authenticity because everyone's posting the same thing. Another way to look at social media is, what are you trying to reach? Are you trying to just get likes? That's a completely different game. Mm-hmm. If you look at your likes and your engagement and it's all people you work with and people that you went to hair school with, then they already know you do hair. Is that attracting clients? And if you're trying to attract clients, then yeah, I would start solving people's problems. But hey, social media, it's free, so go for it.
Cancellation policies.
Of course, I would get this one to stop. Look, cancellation policies are fine if you uphold them 100% of the time. I don't know why you have a policy if you don't uphold it 100% of the time. It seems counterproductive to me. I think it can be off-putting to clients. I think it adds a layer of friction to the booking process. I think that it does more harm than good in most cases. You see a lot of business owners arguing about chargebacks, and it doesn't really matter if you have your ducks in a row. I've seen people that are like, I had all the paperwork and this person filled out a form. Yeah, it's difficult for a bank to side with you and not their customer when you're charging them for a service that they didn't receive. So I think that's one way to look at it. The other thing I would just implore people to think about for 10 minutes, give 10 minutes to this thought, is that you're going to spend time, effort, money, blood, sweat, and tears on finding the right clients or arguing with the wrong ones. Which one long-term is going to make you happy?
Agreed. I think cancellation policies, my last salon, we had one and we only enforced it to people who didn't give us a hard time. So I don't ever see that it's for all clients 100% of the time. It's not being distributed evenly. And when you get a little pushback, you're like, oh, don't charge that one. And I think that's just super unfair and not a professional way to run your business. What we do at Hello is it's a conversation. It's to each individual. Everybody is different. So some it needs a conversation. Some just aren't welcome back if they've done it. I think also what we do is we explain to our staff that the lifetime of a client outweighs the amount of money that's coming in and the amount of money you'll make versus this one-time cancellation fee that might piss off the client and we lose them. And it's just, we're growing a staff that we want to think professionally and in a more mature manner. So we have to give them the information that makes them look differently at each scenario. So we don't get caught up on cancellation policies. Life happens. We want the client to be first and we want to take care of them. And again, if there's someone that there's an issue with, we treat that client individually, and that's the conversation we have there.
I'm up, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Client expectations.
I think some of this is price driven depending on the prices you charge, because if you're charging a higher price, a client is coming in with a different expectation of what they think that service looks like. And that goes from the service to the way you're dressed, to your consultation, to how you greet them. I think that when you have a lower price point, the client might come in with a lesser expectation. I also think this is driven a lot by your website and your social media. What are you putting out, or what is your owner putting out for what your salon looks like? What's the mission of the business? You should understand that, because clients are going to be attracted to what they see on the website, the research they've done, the reviews they've done, and now they're coming in to you because of that and have an expectation that has been created from the social media or the website information that's out there. What I find funny with client expectations is I love seeing a good photo shoot for a salon. I think it's awesome. Everybody looks beautiful. Their hair and makeup's done. Their outfits are great. But what I see on the other side is then the client comes in and you're wearing like something that looks like you're going to the beach, and they expected to see the person that's on the website. So I think there's a disconnect a lot of times with salons. You do these beautiful photo shoots, but then there's no standard in how your staff should look like in your salon. And it definitely trips up the client. And we're judged no matter what by how we look.
A little different approach. Client expectations are changing. I think that expectations on businesses change constantly, and this is where complacency can completely destroy your business or set you back years. For the longest time, the hair industry is very like me focused. It's very much like I'm an artist and I'm this, and I think the client expects that they're going in to pay for a service, and that's what they want. You know, I don't know if I would say it's shifting back to what salons used to be back in the day, when I don't know what decade, Jen, you could probably help out more, but salons were more of a social place where people went to hang out and get services done, and they wanted to chat, and there was a buzz in the air, and there's different conversations happening, and you could have gossip or you could have news, just like a barbershop. You know, there you go, and it's like a central place in the community where there's other people, and there's like maybe some sports on in the background, and people are talking shit to each other or whatever. Like that's the vibe. I think that we might see a shift back towards that from clients, because that's what they want to see. Hair pros out there that put color on hair and then go hide for 45 minutes out back, I think you might be losing a big opportunity there to connect with those clients that are looking for that. They want that buzz. They want that connection. And if you're sitting out back, you're not providing that. Mm-hmm. You have a chance to connect with that person. They're in your chair and they're forced to sit there for 30 to 40 minutes or so, or whatever. Even if it's 20 minutes, that's time for you to connect with somebody. But you're not. And I would say that the client is probably expecting that, or we're going to see a shift towards that soon. And that might be something that people are looking for.
Agreed. I'm up.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Good thing you're going first, because I'd have nothing on this. AEO.
Oh, AEO. All right. So
I'm going to be like So glad I didn't get that first.
Yeah. So AEO it's like SEO. So answer engine optimization. This is really cool. This is an area that any business has a major opportunity to become aware of and perfect. So this goes back to, what did we talk about that answer? Oh, it was social media. So answering clients' problems. People aren't necessarily searching the same that they used to these days because of AI. So they're searching specific problems. It's less about hair salon near me, right? That used to be, I want to rank for hair salon near me, because that's how people use the internet. It was Google, hair salon near me. You popped up or you didn't. Your competitor popped up if they paid more than you to capture that lead. So with AEO, what you have the opportunity to do is answer very specific questions that people would be looking for, such as if you go on our website, you can find an article that's called, "Can a hair salon really stop me or help me with biting my nails? Help me stop biting my nails." And what we were finding is we were getting that question a lot, or Brooke was like, "Hey, I bite my nails. I'd love to come in, but I'm either embarrassed or I don't know how it's going to feel, or is this going to be painful, or does it make sense for me, or whatever." So people are searching these very specific sort of things with AI, and they are far more in depth. So you have the opportunity to answer that question on your website. Now, when you answer that question on your website, AI, such as ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or whatever platform that you use, is crawling through your website, and they're saying, "Oh, this is a good answer to the question that this person's looking for." So then they put you in front of that person. So you might say, "I don't know if I need a partial foil or a full foil." Well, guess what? We've answered that question on our website. So if you search that on your AI app or whatever, that our AI would put us in front of you and say, "Here's an article," or what I've been noticing more and more is happening. They would say, "According to Hello Hair," right? So they're giving you a prop and then saying, "This is what you need to expect if you want to go 6 to 8 weeks, or you want to go 12 weeks, whatever." I think it's a massive upside, and obviously I'm excited about it, but we're trying to limit this, so I'm going to stop talking there.
I got nothing here, and I already knew that. So what he said.
All right. Move on.
You want to do this as the last one?
Sure.
Okay.
Hiring. So vague.
Hiring. Have systems in place for your hiring, and hire for a fit for your business. Don't just hire to fill a chair. More often, if you're hiring to fill a chair, you're going to end up letting them go. And those are the people that are salty about, "I train my staff," and then they leave. But if you're hiring for a fit, and your hiring systems include a couple of different touch points, we've gone over it in multiple podcasts about how we hire. I'm sure Todd can actually somehow let you know the podcast that we have on that. But we have a specific way of doing it that basically allows us to really get to know the person as much as possible in the beginning, gets them to interact with the staff a little, so that we get little bites to see, does this person fit for what we're looking for? And then we also encourage that person to make sure they're picking us back if we are hiring them, that we're a fit for them and that they're not just picking us because they were picked. I think if you just hire to fill that chair, you're going to have more of a headache in the end. And those are the owners that are salty right now saying, "I train people and they don't stay." It's because you didn't hire the right person.
We put out an episode recently, episode 236, Why Salons Struggle to Hire Stylists and How to Fix It. And we talk about our 4-part hiring process, which includes a conversation. I'll just run through it real quick. Includes a conversation. That is the first step. If I can't have a conversation with you, I'm not going to be able to work with you. That's just how it goes. Then we have a shadow day where we invite, and go back and listen to this because we'll talk about it in depth more on the episode, but we have a shadow day where we bring the person in, they shadow, they get to see how the thing works, they get to understand our vibe, they get to see our core values in action, they get to see that education truly is important to us because it happens daily. They get to interact with our staff, they get to interact with our clients, and they get to decide if they want to pick us back. And that's a very important part of it too. And we tell everybody that same thing. From there, we usually have them back and we'll talk about cultural expectations. And we have that conversation where we're not joking about this stuff. This is the stuff that we do here. This is what's important. You can decide if it's the fit or not. At that point, we then move on to a model day where the person already has the job. And the reason that we do that is so that we can figure out where they're at technique wise, and then we can create an educational plan for them and a roadmap. And so by doing all these things, you're getting a lot of buy-in because it's a few steps. It's not like I just need a person, so I'm hiring, or I still see, like, Jen, I think you said this, but I might have been daydreaming, but the people that are saying, I don't have time to train staff. Did you mention that?
I didn't say that, not having time. No.
Okay. So that must just be in my head. And I think I actually saw that the other day. Somebody was like, I had to let go of all these people because I hired them out of school and they're not ready to go. And I just thought that so training goes with hiring. And I just thought, what job do you have that you don't get on the job training? If you went to work for any retail store, there would be training. If you went to wait tables, there would be training. If you went to work at a gas station, there would be training. How would anybody know what to do? And so the people are commoditizing, again, the hair, which I don't think it's really about. I think going back to client expectations, I think clients are looking for the conversation, the buzz, the vibe, and that's what's going to set you apart. So that's where your hiring should be too. You should be looking for the people that are going to support your core values, mission, and vision. Agreed. That was it, right?
Yeah.
Said done.
That's it.
Cool. That was fun.
Yeah, that was
I
great.
like that style of episode. So hopefully maybe we'll do it again. I think I had a couple people that were like, I liked the AI question episode because it threw us off guard.
Yeah.
Or it threw, not off guard, but it caught us off guard because we didn't know what the topics would be. This is another way to do it. I liked this way. The AI was kind of cool too, to see what questions it would prompt. This, I knew obviously these topics because I printed them out and then cut them up and threw them in the bowl. So it's a little bit of different, but anyways, thanks for listening, people. Hope you enjoyed it and found something valuable there.
Yeah. Have a great day.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.